And with that, let's do a little two pros at once. We got a former professional running back, a former professional quarterback, Shaun King, Leroy Horde. Let's talk Jameis and the Browns, guys. How you doing?
Call these guys the Graybeards.
Man, look at this.
No, you went to Tulane, didn't you?
I did.
Did you go to Tulane? Yeah. Yeah, I thought so. So was Mac Brown your coach, or was he gone?
No, I had Buddy Tevens initially, and then Tommy Bowden.
Okay, all right. Because our school in New Orleans, which is probably one of the most expensive schools in the country, it was No. I went to St. Aug, but I'm talking about Tulane. All the coaches went there to get right, and then they got the big jobs, right? And so I got recruited. Y'all don't think about this, guys. Think about this. I got recruited to go to Tulane by Mac Brown.
Oh my God!
Right? Who is still coaching football?
I know you.
Still. Leroy may not know this, but Burton Burns was my running back coach at
Okay, yeah. He coached that.
JG, Dustin, let's put context on today's segment. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, after the Eagles game, y'all ready to burn the city down?
Yep.
Yes. I came on and I said, you know what? They're close. The O-line did a better job run blocking this game. They were better overall in pass protection. Fast forward to the Bengals game. Everybody was ready to just lose every game remaining in the season. I said, don't put a ceiling on how good Jameis can be.
You did.
So here's what I'm coming with this week.
All right,
Take the turnover jacket off of the narrative of Jameis Winston. It's unfair, and here's why. Jameis' last time being a full-time starter in this league was 2019. He threw for 5,100 yards and 33 touchdowns. He threw 30 interceptions. He's never been able to overcome that season. But look at him overall, 145 touchdowns, only 99 picks. Since that season, 24 touchdowns, 11 picks.
Wow.
The one year in New Orleans when he was going to be the full-time starter, the first 7 games of the year, he threw 14 touchdowns and 3 picks before I think he tore his ACL.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the narrative that he's been this turnover-prone guy is unfair. He had 1 year where he was extremely risky with the ball. So that's my big picture messaging for today. Take that narrative off of Jameis because it's unfair.
Leroy, what do you think about that?
Listen, for everybody that comes to the table with numbers, we all come with the numbers or the stats that make our point.
Of course.
These are numbers that are factual, that don't really make a point. They're just facts. We just never even discussed them because our last impression of Jameis was that 30 for 30 year. By the way, he also threw for 5,100 yards. So I don't know who in the hell throwing the ball that much that he could have 30 touchdowns, 30 picks, and 5,100 yards. Y'all need to get a damn run game. But that's beside the point. It was a long time ago. Nobody has ever questioned Jameis Winston's ability to throw the football. But again, Shaun, you know this. Football is a very negative reinforced sport. And so no matter where you go, the only thing that comes with you is not the hopes of what you can do, but what you have done to get you here. And until he gets an opportunity to shake it, which he will for the rest of the season, until he gets that opportunity to shake it, that's what you're going to hear on TV. That's what you're going to hear every pregame. That's what you're going to hear. And in fairness to him, I think now that I think about it, the man has tried to do an incredible job of shaking it. He just hasn't gotten enough of an opportunity. So if he had played the whole season, and here's what's funny. If he had played the whole season in New Orleans, he would still be there if his numbers were 14-3.
You're right.
Cardi,
You see? So
Yeah, I think you're right. The injury obviously derailed what was looking like to be perhaps his best season yet as a pro. Shaun, take us into the mind of a quarterback. We've got him in gunslinger camp, okay? You know, the Brett Favres, the guys that Leroy astutely brought up, Kurt Warner with St. Louis when they were the greatest show on turf. Take us into the mind of a quarterback, because to me, watching Deshaun Watson, his biggest fear was throwing an interception, and as a result, he held the ball too long, he got sacked too much, he didn't take chances. His completion percentage was fine, but he wasn't getting the home run. How do you get over that?
Well, I think the difference between Deshaun and Jameis is Jameis has always been a better thrower of the football than Deshaun. At every point, high school, college, and pro.
Wow.
Like, Jameis is a natural spinner of the football. Like, there are some guys that you just don't realize they throw it that well because for whatever reason their careers, haven't consistently, put them in that platform. Geno Smith is another one. If you went to a local park and saw Geno Smith and Jameis Winston just throw the football in shorts, you'd be like, holy Jesus. Like, this is what it's supposed to look like. And I think I'm for real. It'd be shocking.
No, beautiful
And I
spiral.
think what happened in the Ravens game was you saw a quarterback that's just a more natural quarterback than the guy previously execute the offense exactly how it's drawn up to be executed. And I don't want to throw shade at Deshaun because Deshaun's been really good in this league at times too. But the pressure is now off the play caller to try and match what's best for the defense that we're playing to what Deshaun does well. So I think you're going to see a more organic game plan and a more traditional looking offense as we move forward, because Jameis, even though he's passionate and he's black, he's more of a traditional pocket quarterback.
Shaun, let me ask you this question. First of all, shout out to you. I appreciate you checking up on me last week. I thought you was a bill collector, though. I had to send you to the voicemail the first time. Said, hold on, I don't know nobody from Tampa.
I don't answer those numbers either.
No, scam likely.
Hey, he took a live call on the air once from a bill collector. It was the funniest moment in show history.
Yeah, I told him. We paid them off. We got them off the books, man. But no, let me ask you this question. Let me ask you about this. I think the one thing that really jumped out to me was the difference between plan and structure and not plan and structure, right? It just seems like Jameis Winston is a guy that is comfortable planning structure. And I'm all for people extending plays and improvising, but sometimes the ability to play in structure gives you a better opportunity to maximize what you can do within an offense. What is your philosophy that you tell your quarterbacks about playing in structure and what you're looking for in certain opportunities?
It's okay. It's okay, Bush. It's okay to say to say Jameis is a pocket passer. You did everything you could not to say that.
Well,
you said structure. You said everything.
I thought that was high level. That was high level.
Look around the league. Okay, I told you last week, Kirk Cousins gonna have a job forever because he throw the ball out of the pocket. Look at all the teams having success.
Yeah,
them guys are sitting in the pocket, reading the defense, delivering the ball on time. So like if you're not used to seeing that, because the last three quarterbacks have scrambled around a little bit, it catches your eye a little bit wrong. It's awkward. Right? Whoa, what is this? He's not moving. Right? It's but it's not wrong with it.
I liked it. Give me a 300.
I also think that association breeds assimilation, right? Whatever environment you're in, you take on the characteristics and attributes of that environment. And here's the context behind that.
Deep.
The offense at Florida State was a drop-back quarterback system, under center, handing the ball to Dalvin Cook, play action pass, making offensive pass protection checks at the line of scrimmage, having check with me in the run game. The offense at Clemson was a zone read the defensive end, throw RPO system. So Jameis came in ahead of Deshaun as it pertains to just playing quarterback. Now, where I think the biggest impact is going to be felt, and hear me clearly on this, Jameis is a man's man, y'all. Jameis is the guy that's going to get Elijah Moore and Cedric Tillman to be household names. Because he's going to walk by the receiver room. Hey, Elijah, man, on that breakout 60, man, make sure you get deep on that corner and aim at that front power line because I'm chunking it. Hey, Tillman, man, when we get that double dig, man, make sure you get vertical now all the way to 18 because when you come across, that ball going to be in the air, baby. Let's ride. Like, that's Jameis during the week.
See, I was excited. I said, well, you throw my name in there, that sound good. G. Bush, man, when you come across on that backside thing, get your head around you to the house on that.
No. By the time you get to the middle, we going to halftime, bro.
It's just like eat my steak, Leroy. I take my time with it. I take my time.
Hey, listen. Where's G. Bush? He had about 15. He gets to 18 in a minute.
But that's gonna be the difference between the personalities of Jameis and Deshaun. And not saying one is right, one is wrong.
He's one of the guys. He's one of the guys.
But Cleveland needs Jameis's personality.
By the way, Jameis Winston, Offensive Player of the Week.
There you go.
In the league?
Deserve it.
Yeah.
AFC.
Well, in the AFC.
I think that they give it for AFC and
Offensive
NFC.
Player of the Week.
Yeah, well deserved.
And watch this. Hey, before we put Jameis in the Hall of Fame now, boy, look at here. Sometimes, boy, if luck on your side, and the story end up with a happy ending. Because, man, if Hamilton would have caught that pick, this would be a whole different conversation.
That's what we said Monday.
You know what?
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
Oh,
Shaun, check this out. Not for me. Not for me. Because the way he pushed the ball down the field is something we haven't seen all year. And so that is the way this offense was supposed to look. Now, he may have made a mistake or two. Sure. But the overall outcome and my overall feeling about how that game was played and how the offense looked, no matter how it ended, wasn't going to change my mind.
Well, I wasn't talking necessarily from whether it was right or wrong. I was talking about the narrative in Cleveland. DeMar,
Right. He wouldn't have been
Ravens game. Right, that we should lose every game so we get the number one pick and draft a quarterback.
I know what you're talking about, though, Shaun. Like, clearly, if Hamilton holds on to that ball, they lose the game. But Leroy brought this up, and we talked about it on Monday. That's why he's playing defense. If he could catch everything like that, he'd be a wide receiver.
They can't catch. That ball be
So here's what'll be interesting. Here's what'll be interesting moving forward. Here's what I'm looking at offensively for Cleveland. Can they build upon the success that Cedric Tillman had? Because the one thing they don't have is a true number one. I think Judy's more comfortable being a number two. Tillman's going to get an opportunity to prove who and what he can be in this league because Jameis is going to give him targets. I would be surprised if Njoku and Jameis stay healthy, that Njoku doesn't finish in the top 3-4 tight ends statistically in the league. Because I think Jameis is going to do what Flacco did last year and show America that guy has elite level ability. Now, as far as the run game, don't forget Nick Chubb's speaking just a little bit better every week as well. Mm-hmm. So I know I don't want to talk playoffs yet because the schedule is extremely difficult. They got a lot of division games.
Playoffs?
But if they can find a way to get this thing to a game below 500, I think this is a win.
Guys, the problem here is, and not to spin this as a negative, it can be a positive too, is like if Jameis continues to win, the Browns are not going to be picking at the top of the draft. Yeah. And so like my only thought in saying that is like you don't have picks. There's going to be a team out there that would give you a mid-round, who knows, maybe a second or third round pick for Jameis Winston.
No.
Here, think about this. If the hardest position in football to fill is a quarterback, and you have a guy that you feel can be your quarterback for the next 3 or 4 years, why on earth would you jeopardize that just because of draft position?
Leroy,
in hopes that a guy.
Let me just preface what I asked by saying I would personally not make that move, and I would consider looking at Jameis as a possible, like you said, 3-4 year answer for the Browns.
Right.
I don't know that they would though.
Well, they
here's
what's
interesting to me from just the outside looking in. I don't think the Browns roster is as good as people have predicted it to be from 1 to 22.
Okay.
I think they have glaring issues outside of the quarterback.
Like?
And so the offensive line could definitely use an influx of healthy, young, elite talent. I think the wide receiver group could use a true number one talent as a pass catcher. I think defensively, I mean, you guys tell me, but I think that back seven could use a little enhancement. Not to say that it's not good, but it's not great across the board. And I say all that to say this. If Jameis can play his way into it, I'm not handing Jameis anything. He got to earn it. If Jameis can play himself into you feeling like, okay, he's 30, we can sign him to a 3-4 year deal and have our quarterback for the next 3-4 years. The freedom that gives you to allocate resources to enhance the rest of the roster so you don't waste Myles Garrett and what we hope will be a fully healthy Nick Chubb and some of these other pieces, over the next couple of years. That's the thing if you start over at quarterback with a young guy. Now, what do you tell some of these veterans?
Yeah, Myles would not be in line with that. I can't imagine.
Because the other move is if you get to the point,
it was an answer to Dustin's point.
Yeah,
Like you agree, disagree.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
He said, do you agree or disagree?
Oh yeah, I'm with you. Like I think the Browns are in an interesting spot here because of all these things. Now I think they've gotten bailed out by Deshaun's injury. By now, Jameis gets his opportunity here. But man, if Jameis has a run like Flacco had last year, and I think it's going to be very difficult to make the playoffs. But if he does, and you let Jameis go like you let Flacco go, it's going to be really tough on this fan base,
here's
man.
the difference though. Flacco's 38.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, there's an 8-year difference.
I feel you, but he's still starting in the NFL
30.
right now.
Jameis is 30. Like
Well,
that.
Then Leroy, doesn't it make it even worse, him being 30, to consider letting this guy go if he does something special here in the final?
Absolutely. But I'm saying this is why they probably wouldn't let him go.
Okay, I hope you're right.
It's because he's 30.
Right.
And to Jay's point earlier, is that if they see another quarterback come in here and play the way the last two veteran quarterbacks have played in Jameis and Joe Flacco, the owner might just say, let's eat it.
He's going to have to.
He's going to have to.
He's going to have to.
Ain't no other options.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So but here's the problem. They're going to be stuck. You're going to have to be able to do one or two things. Bring in some cheap talent to support all the areas that you guys need, and you're going to be able to have to draft well.
Yeah, one thing is certain, they're not going to be able to get a high-priced quarterback in here. That's off the table. It's going to have to either be a rookie or someone like Jameis who you might get a break with and sign him to a 3-year. If you see enough in these next couple of weeks, sign him to a 3-year, and it would be a team-favorable deal. But if he plays out the string and plays great all year, that number's going to be up there.
No, here's what I would do. I would give him the old Kirk Cousins deal. 3 years guaranteed. Go. Like, you give us a deal, we'll give you a deal.
Here's what's interesting as we move forward, because none of this matters if Jameis don't play well.
You're right.
And even if Jameis plays well, I wonder what the threshold is for job security for Barry and Stefanski. What if Jameis plays well, but they just aren't good enough to win some tight games? Like I'm asking the question because you guys are there. You probably know more than me as it pertains to this particular aspect. What's the threshold, in your opinion, for Stefanski and Barry?
Less now than it was in August.
Well, but
is it win? Is it how the team looks?
I think it's a look. I think it's a look.
Though, but is this all based? I think this goes to one thing. Who was the main catalyst behind getting Deshaun Watson?
That is the $64,000 question.
If it was, say, if it were Barry and Stefanski, then the owner chewing on that, and he is bitter.
Yeah, that's
but if it was the
career-ending
owner,
injury if it was either of those two.
Right.
or at least
if it's the
ending
owner,
year.
if it's the owner, then I think that those guys may be safe because they have kind of covered up that decision a little bit.
Right, they were following
the last
orders
2 years.
and being good company
Right,
guys.
so
and that is
that's the
ultimately
whole
that is the question. Whose idea
Yeah.
was it to bring in this dumpster fire? And if some of it belongs to Barry and Stefanski, then they're likely going to pay the price for it because this is not a bad decision. This is, we talked about this Monday, and I'll let you guys answer this and then we've got to go. We think you can make a case that this is the worst transaction, not just in the history of the NFL, in the history of sports. Tell me I'm wrong. Thank you. Thank you.
I mean, I'd have to say drafting Sam Bowie over Michael Jordan is up there. So
That's kind of wild.
after that,
Yeah,
one,
but
That's
but
nasty
again,
work.
might be on the side.
but again,
All right. It's to be
and Shaun,
considered.
the only time that happened, the only reason why that happened is because back then the NBA was all centered around bigs.
And who knew he
Not
was going to
wings.
break his leg like he did?
Right.
In
I mean, what about Kwame Brown?
Not as bad as this.
In Deshaun's defense, and I'm not being an apologist. You know the most disappointing thing, if this is the end of this experiment, you never even got a full season to see
That's right. But
what
that's
truly could happen.
No, you're right.
That's the most disappointing part, is that you never
do we
even
need a
got
full
like
season?
full catalog.
I mean, we have a full season spread over 3 years. I just kept waiting to see it. Where is it? We saw it in a burst at the second half of the Ravens game once, but like that can't be all.
The thing that stood out to me was Shaun said, and he was unequivocal about what he said about it. He said, Deshaun Watson or Jameis Winston is a better thrower of the football than Deshaun Watson.
And that
I
is.
mean, the guy, you said
At
that
every level.
3 years.
Yeah.
There's never been one game in 3 years that we've been this as excited as we are right now.
Right,
Just-
you're right. Jameis comes in one game. did
One
what
game.
Deshaun couldn't do in
One
3
game.
years, and he makes 1/250th of what Deshaun Watson is going to walk out of here with.
Hey,
And he ain't
Jay,
practiced.
last thing I got. Last thing I got, because I know we got to leave. It's a lot of quarterbacks and quarterback coaches that watch this show because they hit me up in the DMs. The quarterback-specific learning tool from this is, because Jameis was such a great follower, he now is prepared for his opportunity to lead.
Wow, that's
So
a
you
great
guys out
point.
there that are backing up, that got the bad body language, all in your feelings, chirping on the other side of the locker room, Jameis is the consummate professional. He showed you how to be a backup to the starter, and now he's going to show you how to lead a team as the starter.
Man, that is such a astute point, because you couldn't have asked for a better disciple. Jameis Winston stood up in front of the media before the season started and spoke of this man as if he walks on water on a football field. And you're right, because all the other 52 guys saw that, they're probably more likely to say, "Which hill are you taking? I'm going to follow you."
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Well, listen, I tell you what, he ain't never had a problem controlling the room.
No, that's a
Never.
fact. That is a fact.
Never. We may laugh at some of the things that he says, but them guys in that locker room with him ain't laughing.
My favorite thing he's ever said was, "I'm praying on Deshaun's legs. I prayed on that man's legs."
Hey,
I was dead.
Hey,
He really means that.
I know he
mean it.
does.
That's
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah, I
He's
know he
being
does.
sincere,
He just
even
seems
though,
like a sweet guy, you know?
even though
Yeah.
we look at him a certain way, that
Yeah.
what comes out of that man's mouth, he's being sincere.
Guys, it didn't disappoint. You guys are both awesome. Excellent having you on together.
checks in the mail.
We'll see you next week, guys.
Bravo, well done.
See you next week.
All right, Shaun.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, guys. And
They're
if you
awesome.
want more from